what if the 9 to 5 is over? That steady job, one career path for life, it's becoming rarer and maybe even unrealistic. More people are piecing together a living from multiple things, not because they can't focus, but because the world of work has changed. So do we need to change too? Welcome to Making Sense. It's the podcast for people who want financial freedom without giving up their coffee. I'm Frances Cook, a financial journalist and fellow financial freedom seeker who makes money simple for you. Now, how much money you've got coming in is huge for the rest of your money life, but the way we earn it, definitely changing. And Hannah Koumakis is a perfect example of that shift and what it actually looks like when you build a career across acting, business, content, and community all at once. Just thinking about her work life makes me feel a little tired, but she says it's actually better this way. That's not to say there haven't been struggles, though. She's also ready to tell us all about the times she's laid in bed, crying, ready to quit the lot of it. That wasn't actually from the work itself, though, but from the way that people sometimes treat her while she's getting that work done. So, let's dig in to what happens when you abandon the one job for life model and instead create opportunities in the new world of work, where you often need multiple streams of income to get ahead, and where your financial systems need to be even sharper to hold it all together.
All right, joined now by Hannah Koumakis. Look, you are amazing. I was talking to someone about the phenomenon of slashies the other day, and you are the perfect slashy.
What's a slashy?
Actor slash entrepreneur slash content creator. I just love
it. It's a cool concept. I love
You're
it.
a classic one.
Thank you.
Let me roll through your businesses because I'm not going to be able to do this off the top of my head. So, Dear the Series Guided Journals, Dear Bride's Wedding Content Creation, Dear Community, which is an event series for women, the 7 Content Studio Consulting. When people ask you, what do you do? How do you answer?
I don't even know. I'm like, I do a lot of things. I'm a busy gal. But I would say the main thing that I do is Dear Community, is looking after the charity, the nonprofit. And then I'm also do a bit of acting on the side as well and then do content creation. So I don't know. It's kind of hard. Maybe I'm an entrepreneur, busy gal. I guess that's what I'd say. It's hard. I really should get that right though. I should have a word that I can actually use and say, but that's pretty much me.
I love though, elevator pitch.
Yeah.
Busy gal.
Busy gal. I just always got things on. But that's my personality as well. I love doing lots. Doing lots of things. Otherwise I get bored.
Because how old are you now?
26.
Far out. You're doing amazing. 26. I was not this self-motivated. I took a little bit longer to find what I wanted to get into. And even then, it's like 1 or 2 things, not like a bajillion. When you started doing all these things, I mean, did you deliberately want to be doing a lot of things? Did it just sort of happen?
Yeah, so I think it all started happening because I actually really wanted to be a property investor.
Oh.
I wanted to be Bob Jones. I wanted to be the New Zealand property investor because I really saw a need in the New Zealand market for healthy rentals because there was just nothing there. And so this is way back when I'm 12. So you asked a 12-year-old, what do you want to do? And I'm saying I want to be a property investor so I can have healthy homes for renters. And I knew, I was like, okay, I need to get a job that is going to pay me enough money. I don't want to go to university. So I decided to move to London and I became a nanny for billionaire families. And it was crazy. And I
actual
looked,
billionaires?
Literally billionaires. You type them up and there's paparazzi photos. It's insane. 8 houses around the world, helicopters, jets. Insane. One of the ladies was like, yeah, so I had dinner with Trump yesterday. I'm like, this is crazy. It's actually crazy. So yes, wow. I saw a lot. I learned a lot. I learned what money in the wrong way can do to you. I was striving just for money and I realized my whole life was money, 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 which is really important, but that's not everything. And so I learned through that job and I'm so glad I did it. From the age of 18, 19, my eyes opened and I'm like, this is what money can do to you and you can actually be really depressed through it, but you need to make sure you're also ticking all these other things in your life. You need to make sure you've got good friends and family and you're healthy because money's not it, but it also is a massive part of it. And then I came back home and realized I missed study. And so I actually went to university and became a property valuer. So yes, so I studied from Massey University, a major in property, minor in financial advice. So I became a property valuer, only did it for like a year, my final year, and then realized I hated it, which is like, it's actually one of my biggest pieces of advice is that in your final year of university, do the job that you're actually wanting to go into and see if you like it, because you might not actually like it. And then I realized I didn't like this. And so I went into buying. So I became a buyer at the Mitre 10 head office. So I was buying for all the pot plants and, all the indoor plants, those baskets, like I was buying for those things. It was really cool. And then from there, I launched all my businesses while working full time. So that's kind of how it all started.
I want to go back to the behind the scenes, the billionaire families.
Oh,
for a moment.
Yeah,
I'll bet. I'm not sure how
crazy.
much you can say. Like, did you have to sign NDAs and
Yes,
things?
yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay. So within the bounds of what you're allowed to say, what sort of things did you pick up? Like the lifestyle that they're living, I imagine it was quite fun being on the sidelines of some of that. But like, what sort of things did you pick up? What would you like to replicate? Yeah. What wouldn't you?
They were big shots, really, really big shots. And the mum, one thing I really admired about her is no matter how busy she was, she had time for me. So she would give me her full attention. So no matter what, because her kids were top priority for her. So she put down her phone, put down her laptop, sat there and she would cross her legs and then sit, on the chair with her legs crossed and talk to me, which I loved that because I thought, wow, you're literally a billionaire lady. You're here sitting here talking to me because your kids are top priority. The dad, I was very much there to be seen but not heard. So yes, he was terrible. He was really horrible to me. I remember my first day in London when I was working for them. He comes up to me and goes, Hannah, can you do something for me? I said, yes, of course, anything. And he goes, never wear that ever again.
Oh, on your first day?
On my first day. And I was like, okay. Because as a Kiwi, you're so chill, And
what kind of a power, was that like a power move?
It was crazy. Yeah. I got blamed for anything and everything. But I think I just learnt the 9-year-old boy. So this is really the turning point for me. 9-year-old boy comes to me and he has tears in his eyes and he goes, Hannah, I never asked for any of this. I don't want it. I don't want any of it.
Wow.
And this was on the back of them being invited to the Circus Delay VIP night. The kids got anything and everything they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
So for example, there was a brand new Monopoly game out and the mum just ordered it from Amazon. And I remember thinking, I would have to wait a whole year until Christmas to get that. Like I would have to save to get that. They got it. They got anything they wanted. And the fact the 9-year-old said that to me with tears in his eyes, I was like, kids don't want things. They want their parents.
Mm.
And here I am striving to have all this money, but literally all they want is just you.
Yeah.
So that was huge for me. I was like, wow, I needed this. I need this entire experience. It's made me want to strive towards money, of course, because it can do some incredible things. But it's also meant that I've gone, reality check, that's not what life is all about.
Where I've often landed on this, and I'd love to know how you feel on this, you might have a totally different view, but I've often landed on, I want enough money to give me options and freedom, because often you do need a certain level of money to buy back your time.
Totally.
But I don't want any more than that, because chasing beyond that is going to then soak your time back up. And if you get too pulled into that, enough is never enough, because it becomes almost a game against other people of who can accumulate more, who can have more power, who can, you can always measure yourself against someone new. And so I'm always trying to remind myself of it's kind of that donut idea of you don't want too little, you don't even want too much either. But where do you land on that?
I totally agree with that, because you still want to have options. Like my goal is to have a house where my kids can have friends coming over, that they can have enough room to be a kid and play and be able to, when you say go climb a tree, literally go be able to climb a tree. But that in Auckland is really hard. And so I know that I have to work really hard. I know that I have to, because that's my goal in life, is to have enough, but then not be too busy that I'm this mum that can't give my kids anything. You do have to have hustle, do have to strive, but knowing the balance of when to stop, to know when's that healthy point, because otherwise, it can be just too much. And you see those kids and they're just the most depressed kids.
Okay. So you came back to New Zealand, learned a few things,
yes,
got the career going. And so you were in this position as a buyer, but you wanted to start your own business. Were you quite clear of, I would like to start my own business. This is just, sort of a stable point from which to launch that? Or like how strategic were you and at what point did you know you wanted to do your own thing?
It wasn't really strategic. I just knew I needed to earn some money somehow. And
Yeah,
I was pretty desperate. I think after realizing, hold up, property valuation isn't for me because it's not my personality, I was desperate and I was searching for something. And I'm so grateful I landed in the buying role because I launched a product-based business and I'm pitching to stores. I knew what it was like because here I am working in Mitre 10 having all these people pitch their brands to me. And so I was like, I know how to negotiate. I know all these terms because I've literally been in that role. And so I launched Dear the Series while working at Mitre 10 full-time. I also launched Dear Community 3 months later and then launched Dear Bride 6 months later, all while working full-time. And I remember it got to a really, really tricky point in my life where I was waking up at 5 a.m., going to my desk, opening up my personal laptop, shutting that at 8, opening up, sliding it across, opening up my work laptop, working from 8 till 5, shutting that, opening up my personal. And that was my life. I didn't move from my desk. And so I totally neglected my physical health and like looking after myself. My friends, non-existent. My family, I neglected them because I was in this massive like hustle period of my life. But it did mean that I got to be at the point that I'm at now. So is it worth it? Like, it's really hard for me to say yes or no. I think it was, but then would I recommend that? I would recommend it with a lot of warning and say, look after yourself as well, because I got so burnt out. I was talking to a friend yesterday about how I got so burnt out that it was in August. I remember it distinctly. I was having to go pack to go somewhere and I was sitting on the edge of my bed and I couldn't move. Like, I just couldn't move. And I called my mum and I was like, I can't get up. Like, I literally have no energy to pack my bag. I just felt empty.
What did your mum say?
She was worried. She was so worried for me. She's like, you need to, because by then I'd also launched 7 Content Studio, which I had social media clients as well. And so I, not only that, and then I also decided to pick up, just why not? Like, just add something else on top. I added, I was working part-time for a marketing person at a startup. So I had a lot going on. And I think I realized, hold up, this isn't what life is meant to be about. And so I pulled back on a lot of things and I decided to, cancel my contracts with the social media clients. And I'm really glad I did that. But I just wanted to look at what do I want to do in my life? Like, what's important to me? I realized Dear Community, which I'm sure we'll touch on soon, is a massive part of my life. And that's where I wanted to put my focus in on. And I realized I have to do something with work. Like, this full-time job isn't fulfilling me. And that's when I decided to quit.
So that real head down hustle part of your life, how long do you think that went for?
That was 18 months.
That is a long time to be working that hard. I do believe that if you want something different and interesting, like, everyone wants the result.
Yeah, oh, totally.
Not everyone is prepared to do the work, but it's still a balance of, you've still got to look after yourself, right? That idea of front loading the effort and putting in the effort so that you can get the rewards and hopefully kick back. It's great, but it has to be contained, right? So do you think 18 months was sort of the right-ish amount of time? If you had your time over and you still want the end result, how would you do it differently? Would you at all do it differently?
I think it taught me so much resilience that I don't know if I would change it. I would just give myself a warning of, hey, the next 18 months are going to be a lot for you, and just get into the gym. Make sure that you're still seeing your friends. Don't neglect your family, because I would be putting work above them. I'd be missing events because of work. And I think just warning myself. But I'm glad that I did what I did, because it truly set me up for some of the big trials that I have gone through. So I'm grateful for that. But it definitely wasn't easy. But I'm glad that I went through it in the way that I did, because when I quit my full-time job, I picked up 10 hours. Because what I did is I worked out how much, this is what I recommend to anyone, if they want to start their own business, work out your bare expenses to live. Give yourself a little bit of buffer as well. And then I need you, like what I say to people, find a part-time job that will cover those. Because you don't want that added stress of going, okay, quit full-time job, launching a business. Oh, wait, I'm not earning any sales this week. I'm not going to eat. Make sure you have a part-time job that you're going, I'm fine. Now I can focus. And I worked out there was only 10 hours for me. My rent is really cheap because I flat with 6 others. And I worked out that I could live really frugally. And so that's what I did. And I picked up a 10-hour week job and I did that for about 6 months. And then I quit that because I realized I was able to do the things that I could do full time.
I love that. Do you know what's interesting about your work history? And I mean, I know obviously you're quite young, but you've also built a lot. I don't think you should be discounted because of your age. You've built so much in a short amount of time. And I often look at things now, and the world of work is changing so rapidly, and I think we're heading down a path that, from my view, the idea of staying, we all know you're not going to stay in one job for the rest of your life, but I think even the idea of staying in one industry for the rest of your life is probably outdated. I mean, certain jobs are coming and going within a period of years, and then you're replaced and it's onto something new. That job doesn't even exist anymore. Where do you see the world of work going in terms of, you've built up several different fulfilling projects. Do you think that's going to be needed for people in the future? Do you think that's just going to be how it is?
I think so. I think especially the younger generation coming through really value their own flexibility as well. And they want to be able to go to a Pilates class at 12 o'clock. They want to be able to do those things. So I think the way, whether it be I think 9 to 5 is getting old. I think it is flexible. So with my to 10, they let me work from 7:30 and I could end earlier. So they were really flexible. So I think flexible working that's going to be the future. I think people that want what I have or want what other entrepreneurs have and that kind of lifestyle, you do have to put in the hard work. But I think overall it is definitely changing. People are just craving having more flexibility in their life to be able to do the things that they truly want to do.
I mean, even I think about, myself, where I have built a business where I can sort of do things quite feast and famine, where, I come up to Auckland and have conversations with people like yourself that are so interesting, and I love it and I love my work, but it's always the Auckland days are quite big, and I didn't get to see my kids for breakfast this morning, but I will be home in time for dinner, hopefully. Auckland traffic allowing. But, and the rest of the time, the rest of the fortnight even, because I'm up here fortnightly, I am there for school pickup and drop off. I'm there for breakfast and dinner. I'm really super focused on my family life and then fitting business around that. And to be able to that sacrifice of the one day in the fortnight that's really busy, and then the rest of the time is my life first and business second. It wouldn't have been possible, I don't think, 10 years ago before we got to the point we're at. But also B, I think you have to build something for yourself to get there, right? And is that sort of what you're aiming for? You're thinking ahead for the future in your family life and all that.
Yeah, 100%. And I think it is, being able to be present in your children's lives is so important, like what I saw with when I was nanny. And so I think that's definitely the forefront of my mind, is that I want to work really hard now because I want to give my children a life where they can be kids.
Yeah. And with a lot of the things that you've built, a lot of it very much touches on the very personal parts of people's lives as well. You're talking about you want to keep your life. So with the businesses and the nonprofit that you've built, they also are very focused on life and those important moments in people's lives. How deliberate was that? Do you think you're drawn to those parts?
Yeah, 100%. Even being on TikTok, the only reason why I'm on there is to help. Is to simply help people. Dear the Series is to help people discover themselves. It's literally there. Dear the Series is a series of guided journals, and it's basically, I designed them because it helped me through so much, through my mental health growing up as a teenager. Journaling helped me. I've journaled every single day for 9 years. Every single day. I haven't missed a day. And that helped me a lot. And I so wanted to help people see the release that it can give you, writing and seeking help. Sometimes you can't go and actually talk to someone. So writing it down, getting it out of your head. And so that's why I created Dear the Series. And Dear Community is the biggest thing. It's so important. And yet, why is it so hard to make friends? Why is it so hard? Even when I go to events and I'm usually at the back of the room, I'm so nervous to go talk to anyone, because it's why can't we just go and say hi to someone? Everyone's feeling the same thing. And I think I wanted to create this organization that encourages really easy ways to meet people. Tonight, we've got this women's health event where all these women can come together and listen to incredible speakers talk about women's health, which is something that's barely ever talked about. So it's bringing like-minded people together. So I was just currently away. I came back a few days ago in Greece. We did a Greek Kentucky with Dear Community. And so we had 38 girls from New Zealand come over to Greece. And so it's like-minded girls that want to travel, that want to see the world, come together. And it was amazing. So I think that's something else I want to do. I want to help people come together because life should not be done alone. It should be done together. It should be done in community. And there's nothing really like that out there. And so that's the heart behind Dear Community. And then Dear Brides, a part of it is I want to help people be able to relive their wedding the next day and be able to help them share it with the world and be able to really enjoy those moments years to come. And then obviously TikTok, being able to give people budgeting tips and all that. So,
I know. I love how much you get into the nitty gritty, and you also are very willing to share your own journey with money on social media, which, as someone who also talks a lot about money online, it's so useful for people, and yet you have to be so careful in how you frame it because it can get really heated. People don't love if you forget, the different things that impact people's lives.
Yeah.
Fair. When you're very much putting out a lot of your own journey with money, have you ever had any blowback that...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, go on.
Oh, yeah. So people don't like the ways that how I talk about it as well. One of the ways that I used to talk was, you should not go out and buy coffee every single day with your friends. Instead, you should go for a walk. And I realized that was quite harsh. Like, you probably shouldn't phrase it that way. And I realized it was just a hook. And so now I've started saying, started reframing the way that I have my TikToks and saying, this is what works for me. This is what saved me so much money. It could work for you, but it works for me. It could work for you, rather than just, actually saying it outright. I've learned a lot. I've had a lot of people not love me for my content because I'm very upfront. I literally show people my bank. I will turn my other phone around and go, these are my bank accounts. I'll scroll through. I'm like, why should money be so taboo? Because how do we know how much money you should be having in your bank account as a 20-year-old? How do we know how much money a 20-year-old should be spending on food? Because no one talks about it. You should know. I remember I got told off because I accidentally told my salary. And you're not allowed to do that. Apparently it's in your contract. You're not allowed to do that. So yeah, wouldn't recommend doing that. But even that, I'm like, that's crazy. It's in your contract. And I get it in some points. But I'm like, people just are going in so oblivious to life and adulthood. And they're like, well, how much should I be spending on groceries? I don't know. No one ever tells me. So $300, a week should be fine for a single person. Well, actually, it's quite a lot. Like, maybe it should be slightly less. $200 a month on Uber Eats could be slightly less. So I think there needs to be more conversation about it because there currently isn't. And so I am very open, very, very open. I talk about a lot. I talked about my first home, and I've stopped talking about that online because I had a lot of backlash from that. So that's something I've now decided to keep to myself.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tell me about the backlash there and why it impacted you so much. What sort of things were people saying?
I got help from my parents. Yeah. And so that was something that people didn't like, which was really hard because I also worked really hard. I saved $80,000 by myself by the age of 21, which I was really proud of because I worked so hard. I worked multiple jobs throughout my schooling times and really, really hard to earn that money. And because I got help, it seemed like people just want to disregard all my hard work, and I wasn't allowed to talk about my experience. And I totally get that I'm privileged to have that the opportunity to get money from my parents, and I don't dismiss that at all. But I think people didn't think it was fair that I come online and talk about it. So so about 18 months ago, maybe a year ago, I stopped talking about it, which is real sad. But I think, unfortunately, people can be mean.
It's a tough one, right? Because I understand we're all starting from different places, and I understand how people who don't have that help would feel very frustrated. And obviously you don't want to be like, I did this and therefore everyone can too. Like, that would be terrible. But if you were to turn around and say no to your parents for helping you, how does that help anyone else? Do you know what I mean? And I think if we shut down these conversations because let's be honest, I'm sure there's jealousy in there that's fueling a lot of it. So if we're shutting down conversations because we're jealous or because it feels unfair or because whatever, that just means we're going to see other people achieving things around us and say, how on earth are they doing that? And never know. And I think it's a real shame. Don't blame you at all for not wanting to talk about it anymore. But it's a real shame that you sort of get shouted down for having a realistic conversation, because surely it's more helpful to acknowledge, I had a bit of a hand up. That was part of it. I also did all this. That was part of it. And then people can take the bits that work for them and try to figure out a way to fill that gap. It's a shame that these conversations get shut down.
Totally. And I had one person made a video about me recently, and it was the most soul-crushing thing I've ever had to witness. And it was her saying, I don't want to hear, it was about me, I don't want to hear a privileged person coming from a background of money talk about budgeting and financial tips. I don't want to hear it because you come from privilege and I don't want to hear it. And she posted that and it blew up and I saw it. It was a lot worse than that. And I remember lying on my bed. I was actually away on the Dear Community Camp and I found out about it at night and I was up all night and I was away from my family and I lay on my bed just in the fetal position and I cried and I cried and I was at that point where I looked at my TikTok and I went to delete it because I was like, I can't do this anymore. If people see me as, and 100%, I had an incredible family that I was very privileged to have financial literacy. Did we grow up with money? People don't know that we didn't, but mum and dad were very savvy and helping us with the pocket money system, which we'll talk about. But it was really hard. And I think seeing that video, definitely made me think, wow, okay, some people truly don't want to hear what I have to say. And so I stepped back from it. And I took a big break from social media from that and talking about budgeting and tips and all of that. And so that was really hard. But yeah, I've come to good terms with it now, that's okay. But yeah, this was relatively fresh as well. This only happened a few months ago.
How do you deal with that? Because I know I've had to come to terms with the fact that there is stuff out there about me that simply isn't true. You know, I've and people send me it for some reason. Like, please don't send me it. I don't need to see it.
Yeah.
But people will send me a thing being like, oh, these people are saying this stuff about you. And I'm like, yep. Well, that's ruined my day. Thanks.
Yeah.
But, you know, they'll talk about, you know, Frances Cook, she's super privileged, or she said this thing, which is often a real twisting of my words.
Yeah. Or out of context.
Begin with. Oh, totally out of context. Or they'll be like, she said this and it's wrong. And I'm like, well, I didn't say that. And yes, that would be wrong. Or another one is I get like, oh, she's limited comments on her Instagram. She knows it's wrong. I've limited comments to only being the people who follow me, because it stops spam bots.
Oh, that's really good.
Who try to like scam my audience. It's one of the few ways I can protect my audience. You know, all these silly things that you just see, silly stuff. And the inclination is to fight back and be like, that's not right, or to jump in and be like, hey, not true. This is what I meant. This is what I said, whatever. And it will achieve nothing is what I've had to learn, is like jumping in there will just put fuel on the fire. They don't want to hear it. They'll just yell at me more. And so I have to really choose what things I put out there, knowing that at any point it could get flipped and be taken in the worst way possible. Like, I never put anything about my kids because that's not up for debate.
Yeah.
Say anything about my kids, you're dead.
Yeah.
You know? So I'm just not going to put them out there either because, you know, they're not part of this.
That's good, yeah.
Whereas anything that I put out there in the money world, I'm like, well, this could be misconstrued, but I think overall it's worth it because I know it helps more people than the people who are determined to see it wrong. But how do you know, you said you lay there and you cried.
Yeah.
That's awful.
It was like the worst day of my life. Like, I just, everything within me was just gone. And I remember saying to my parents, they're like, is it worth it? We can't see you like this. I don't know. This is the thing, is I don't know. I wouldn't wish the hate upon anyone. And so when people come to me, how can I get PR? How can I go to these events? I'm like, it's not really worth it. Like, to see the impact and how I've changed a lot. A lot of people have said to me I've changed. If people knew me before social media, I've changed. I've become a lot more introverted, a lot more very sensitive, extremely sensitive to anything. I will take that as someone doesn't like me and I'll get really upset. But yeah, like you said, people take things. I'm one of the things I talk about is that I got student allowance, which I was very grateful for. People say, oh, her parents lied on the form and her parents were actually retired. Like, where did that come from? We qualified for student allowance because the government saw that we didn't earn enough. My parents didn't earn enough. So I think to say that we came from this really rich, it's not true. And so it's really hard because you want to fight back. But it's so frustrating when people say that and then other people go, oh, well, wow, okay. And they believe that comment, but you just want to fight, but you're like, I can't. So it's been a huge learning journey. I think the reason why I get a lot of hate is because I'm so open about my money, and I'm open, especially with the property stuff, which if you went onto my Instagram, everything's deleted from my property because I couldn't do it anymore. But yeah, it's been a massive learning journey. I really want to help people. I still do. But it's just being really careful on what can I say and making sure that it's read by, I'll send the video off to lots of people to check it first to make sure that it's okay. But yeah, I feel like I'm walking on eggshells 24/7. I'm like, oh, what can I post? And will people get upset?
And they will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard. I just wish that it's crazy how bullying is. Everyone talks about, your child shouldn't bully, which I totally agree with. But then it's usually the appearance. It's usually the adults that are sitting behind user 19345 that are bullying. And it's like, but would you say it to my face? You wouldn't.
Yeah.
And so that hurts. It's like I wish everyone could see. I have a video I recorded myself on that day of lying in bed because I just wanted to record it and just have it in case I wanted to share it with the impact that your words can mean, the impact that a human's words could mean on someone. And I haven't yet posted it, but I want people to see that it's so detrimental to your mental health, and it's brought me to such low points, which I don't want people to get to ever. But like what I told you before, that lady that came up to me and said, oh my goodness, that pocket money system you talked about has changed my life.
Yeah.
And your budgeting has got me out of debt. You're splitting off your money into 12 different accounts, 15 different accounts has saved me. And I'm like, these are the people I do it for. I do it for them. And if it means that I can help one person get out of debt, if I can help one person with their family and change a generational cycle of them being in poverty to now being able to be free, it's worth it.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing, isn't it? Is you do also get that feedback of people who you've changed something huge for them. And money is such a big part of what you can achieve in your overall life that this is life-changing for people. So now that you're looking at things and you've said, okay, these are the things I'm not going to share anymore, what things do you share still? How do you draw those boundaries?
Yeah. I still talk about me splitting my money off into my many different accounts. I've been doing that for, I think, 2 years now. And it's the same video. It's pretty much nearly the same script because I sit there and I think people love it because they know that it's every month on the 15th of every month, my video will come up. And it's me showing how I split off my $4,000 gross salary that I pay myself into my 15 different accounts. This is how I budget. I have accounts that are accumulating, accounts that are non-accumulating, accounts obviously that are set. And I really want people to learn the value of budgeting. And I always say budgeting is not about being stingy. Budgeting is having visibility of your money. Like that's budgeting. I don't want people to go, oh no, she's so stingy. I want to budget an amount for gifts. I want to be generous, but I want to have that budgeted. Doesn't mean you're stingy. I want to be able to buy my friend coffee because I've budgeted for it. I've got the money there. So I talk about that a lot. I talk about how to know how much money you should be splitting off. It's obviously it's up for debate about, everyone's different. Every single person's different. You can't look at me and go, wow, she only spends, I don't know how, but I only spend about $250 per month for myself on food.
Wow.
And because I eat the same meal every single day, pretty much, the same dinner nearly every single day, because I don't really care. But a lot of people, you can't do that because actually people have taste buds and I must not. And so people, it's actually unrealistic. So I don't want people to look at me and go, oh, I have to do that. So it's basically encouraging people to look at their circumstances. So it's running people through how can you budget? Someone's like, wait, how do I start? It's like, well, these are the steps. So I take people through that. I talk about the pocket money system as well. I talk about ways that my parents helped us growing up. So I want other parents to go, oh, wow, I'm going to do that too. So those are a few of the things that I do. I share my bank accounts. I show this is how much I have. I literally show screenshots. I tell people about Revolut. I tell people about ASB. I've worked with ASB and Revolut, which is incredible. 2 banks. Revolut is not quite a bank, but it's a company that I love and use. And ASB are incredible as well. So I want to show people that it's really easy to have visibility of your money and to budget.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. 12 accounts.
Yes, a little bit
Tell
more than
me
that, but
about
yeah.
that system because
I
also love a multi-account system and I think it makes life so much easier.
Yeah.
Run me through yours.
Oh, okay. I have so many. So I remember the day clearly. I was at my chiropractor appointment and I was like 8 years old. And I said to the lady, oh, it's really hard. I really want to save up for this Barbie doll, but I also really want to save up for this other thing as well. She goes, why don't you save up for both? I was like, what do you mean? It's just like, why don't you just separate your money and save into both? And that
chiropractic with a side of financial advice.
I know, amazing. As an 8-year-old, that lady, I should give her kudos because she has changed the way that I budget. And I realized with ASB, with a lot of banks, you can create different suffixes. And so I have my food, my shopping, a blessing. I have my rent. I have an other account for random other things. I've got an emergency. I've got a long-term saving, a short-term saving. I feel like I should even bring up my list. I've got a lot. I've got a piano account because when I'm older, I want to buy a grand piano. So I'm I may as well start saving now. I've got a piano account. I've got a holiday account. I have so many insurance account because I pay my insurance annually because it's so much cheaper. And I put aside money monthly so that when my annual insurance is due, I have the money sitting there. And I love it. It's like a game. People are like, I can't be bothered every month. What a hass. But I'm like, well, actually, it's going to save you a lot of money because at any moment, so this is what I do. I only have about $50 in my EFTPOS account. And I'll go to the shops and I'm standing at the checkouts and it's a little bit annoying, but the lady goes, $72, please. And I will open up my account and I will transfer the money from my food account into my EFTPOS account. So I should always have $50. I shouldn't have any less because if I have any less, it means that another account should have paid for that, should have reimbursed that money. It is frustrating because the lady's sitting there waiting while you're quickly transferring it. But it is so worth it. So worth it. I wish more people had more visibility of their money because it could save people from so much debt and from so much financial hardship, really.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I know. I'm so divided on. I mean, it's kind of what we were talking about before of people can get mean about it. So I kind of understand why people don't talk about money, but I think it would be so good if we could A, stop judging other people for living life a little bit differently than us.
Yeah.
And B, talk about it more openly and just be like, okay, let's take the lessons that we can from other people, disregard the rest. It's cool. Other people doing something differently is not a judgment on you. It's just an option that you're not going to take. But anyway, you have mentioned the pocket money system as well. That went wildly viral.
Wildly, yeah.
Tell me about that. It's clearly hit a nerve with a lot of people.
Yeah. Okay, so the pocket money system, in 2007, I got $140 per month. So equivalent to today's dollars is about $300, accounting for inflation. But let's just use the 140. So at the age of 7, I got 140, but half of that had to go to long-term savings. So at the age of 7, you're being taught to save for a house. That long-term saving will only be touched for a house. Literally nothing else. Nothing else. That gets locked away. So you're left with 70. 10% goes towards tithe or charity, giving back. Because you should be taught that you should be charitable. You should be able to give back. 10% is given back, so it's $14. Then we had to also give, I think it was about 20% towards short-term savings. Our short-term savings is for maybe your phone or for a car. But the caveat is that you were only allowed to spend half of whatever's in that account. So if you wanted a car for $5,000, you needed to save 10. So that was the rule with short-term savings. It ended up leaving us about $36 per month. Now you'd be like, wow, 2007, that was a lot of money. We had to buy everything. Everything. If we went out to McDonald's for lunch, we had to buy it. Socks, we had to buy it. Underwear, we had to buy it. And what it meant, one thing was really cool is that for Christmas, if you give your kids socks, they're like, oh, Mom, socks. We were stoked because it meant we didn't need to spend our hard-earned money on socks.
Suddenly you're like an adult. I'm at the stage of life now. If someone gives me socks for Christmas, I'm like, sweet.
I know. I love it. So we became, Mum and Dad say, they went from being the no parents to the yes parents. Because it went from being, no, you can't have that to, yeah, of course you can. Can you afford it? How much money do you have? Oh, I've got $20, but that means, And so there was, back in the day, there was lay-by, but you had to go in and pay it off and you wouldn't get the item until you actually paid it off. And I remember that, and it helped with delayed gratification, obviously, because now you just get it with Afterpay.
And then you're still paying for it.
I know, exactly. Yeah. So it really taught us how to learn the value of every dollar. As a 7-year-old, you would have no idea that Barbie, Mum, I want that Barbie. You would have no idea that actually takes your mum 1.5 hours to earn. You had no idea. So we would also have additional jobs. So we had to work for the money. We didn't get that money for free. We had jobs. We had to work for it. We also had Saturday jobs that we would also earn additional money for. Mum and Dad worked out that they were saving money doing this way. So we didn't grow up with a lot of money, but Mum and Dad worked it out and went, how much do we actually spend on our children? And they worked out that they were saving money.
Wow.
So it gave us the ability of having control over our finances. It felt like a game. As I said before, I was homeschooled. So it was like this amazing economics and accounting lesson all in one. And we were able to learn to look for sales. We were like, hang on, if we just wait until Labor Day, we might be able to save $10 and I could use that money to buy something else. So at the age of 7, you've got this control and it became like this game. I was the youngest because my other sister was 9 and 11. So I was definitely the youngest. And Would I recommend it? 100%. Would my sisters recommend it? One of them says no because she thinks it gave her a negative relationship with money.
Oh.
Which is really interesting.
Tell me more about that. Not to put words in her mouth,
No,
but
no.
just like how she feels about it.
I think money was the forefront of her mind. She couldn't enjoy it. She couldn't go out to a restaurant and enjoy a $50 meal because she was like, oh, I should be looking for something cheaper. She couldn't enjoy it. It wasn't until she met her husband that then her mindset changed around it. So she wouldn't recommend it, but I would. I would strongly recommend it. Depending on what age, maybe 7 could be too young. I definitely, if you met me when I was maybe 18, I was pretty cheap. I was pretty stingy. And I was penny pinching and I was doing a lot. But then now it's because I've worked out that I can budget. But yes, I would recommend it. I think it's an incredible way of giving your kids this control over their money. They feel like they can do it rather than you just doing it for them.
It's really funny, isn't it? The using the word control there was exactly what I was just about to bring up, because I feel like that's a real key thing for you, even still now. I mean, from the outside looking in, obviously, don't let me put words in your mouth. But, you have control over so much of your lifestyle by building these businesses. You had control over your money at a very early age and you were learning how it worked. You were learning where you wanted to have your priorities. I had a similar thing where I convinced my parents to give me an allowance.
Yeah.
And from that, I had to do all my own, shampoo and conditioner, all that stuff as well. Funny how all of a sudden Pantene was no longer my choice. That was the bougie thing when I was a teenager. And suddenly no longer an interest. I was off on whatever was cheaper. I don't even think Tresemme was here then. I'm really showing my age. But, it's that feeling of control over your money can be very empowering for a kid. But again, the different money personalities didn't work for your sister, triggered a bit of anxiety in her. So it's always that adapting.
Yeah.
But I think giving kids that sense of control and what they can achieve through their money, and then obviously you build on that throughout the rest of your adult life, and you're learning how you can control things and shape things. For me, when I pursue financial independence, it is always about that control, being able to say no to the things I don't want in my life, yes to the things I do. And that has many times taken money. Do you think that's still coming through as a key part in your life now?
I've always wanted to be in a position where if I needed to do something, I can do it. For example, say if my best friend chooses to go overseas for a wedding, I want to be able to be like, I will be there for you. So I think it kind of ties back everything we've talked about, working really hard now, having that control over, I've got money set aside because of my many different accounts. I've got a holiday account there, so okay, I'm going to use it. So I think budgeting is having that control over your money, and I never want to feel like money has got control over me. Like I want to be able to, I've got control over you. Like I know where that money is going. And I was talking to a friend yesterday and they were telling me about how the direct debit for their insurance was meant to go out on a Friday, and it didn't until it was an error in their system, and it didn't go out till Monday. So that person spent it, and they went back and said, "Oh, I'm sorry, but like you don't have, I can't pay you because I spent it." So I think little things like that. I'm like, you should be able to know where your money's going. Like you shouldn't have just spent that money.
Yeah.
Surely you would have looked at your accounts. And I think people need to be looking at their bank accounts a lot more often and knowing exactly where that money is. And oh, hang on, why have I got more money? That doesn't seem right. Yeah, that's where things go wrong. Like you shouldn't have to be telling your insurance person, "Oh, I'm sorry, I spent my money." It's like you need to know where your money is. You need to have visibility of your money because that's crazy.
That sounds horribly stressful to me.
I know.
Doesn't sound like a fun time.
No. So I think it's important that people aren't just going, "I'm not going to open that app because I'm scared of what's going to be in there." And I totally get it. I totally get that it can be really scary and people start from places which can be scary. But I think start opening it and just start looking at it and facing it and going, okay, what am I going to do? I'm going to split off some money. I'm going to start slowly building up these accounts. Because if you're scared of it, that's where I feel like the danger happens.
Yeah. How have you used these money systems that you've got in order to help you create this business and lifestyle that you now have? Like, how does it all work in together? And is there one part of it that you think is, if someone wanted to replicate what you've built, is there one part of it that's the most important?
In terms of the budgeting side?
Yeah, in terms of how you handle your money and how you handle your business life. Just sort of any key areas there.
Oh, it's funny. I went on a podcast 2 years ago and he said, "Oh, do you have a budget for your business?" And I was like, "No." And I don't. And it's crazy. I'm like, me out of all people, I should.
Yeah.
But I think just starting from kind of what I talked about with budgeting, making sure that you've got those accounts that can help you to live the life that you want to live. So if you do want to have coffee every day, then starting to put a few dollars into that and making sure that, everything I feel like ties back. You have control of your money. If you want to, if you find something really important, then budget for it. Make sure you're budgeting for it. But yeah, I think it's definitely, I'm so grateful for the way that my parents have taught us, and I'm grateful for the financial literacy that they've taught us, because it's meant that I've been really interested in creating all these different accounts and really interested in having visibility of my money and balancing. At the age of 7, we had a finance book and we had to make sure we always balanced it in and out. Even if I found 10 cents on the ground, it had to come into the in. And so we had to always balance it. So I think it's not an obsession. It's a healthy, what's another word I could use? A healthy, what's another word for obsession? Maybe it is an obsession. Okay, maybe a healthy obsession. There we go. It's not a negative one. But I just love it. And I think it shouldn't be scary. And there were definitely points where I was scared. I was pretty nervous, because going from working full time to now being in your businesses, it was nerve-wracking. And especially because my full-time paying job is actually TikTok. And that is really scary. So even a few weeks ago, I was like, I'm scared because I've been away for 2 months and I haven't had any TikToks. And so it's still scary for anyone, because they're like, I don't know what money's coming in. So I think having a bit of a backup, having the emergency accounts, so those systems have really helped me feel a little bit more at peace with the lifestyle that I live.
No, 100%. I feel like the more stable financial footing you put yourself on, the more you can take risks and big swings, and you can go for those moonshots that, if they pay off, amazing. It's going to be so great. You could be set up for life. But if it doesn't pay off, then you're going to be job hunting.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, literally.
And when you give yourself that stable financial footing, you can take those swings. And I think those swings can be life-changing. But you've got to have the stability underneath you, right?
Got to have visibility of that money.
Yeah.
Budgeting 101.
Yeah.
Come on, people.
Find that why, and maybe it's the big swing.
I know.
Look, if someone is listening to this and they're thinking, I would love to also be able to build something that's a bit more flexible, maybe my own business, maybe even just a side hustle, but they're thinking, okay, I'm in a 9-to-5 right now, but I want to build something for myself. What do you think would be the first steps they should take?
I think work out the why. Work out your why. Why are you wanting to do this? Is it because you want flexibility, or is it because you truly believe in this product or business? Know your why, because when you go through hardship, that why is going to get you through. So know your why. That's the first thing. Know your why. The second thing is you're going to have to endure a bit of hustle. And I know that hustle now has got a negative connotation. It used to be, like, whoa, I want to hustle. But now it's like, no, we want to look after yourself, which I'm so for. You want balance. But I think, unfortunately, you're going to have to go through a bit of hustle, because I don't recommend people quitting their full-time job to just go straight into it. Unless you've got a really great cash reserve sitting there, you've got a partner that can help. It gets really stressful. You've got the stress of building a business as well as the stress of living a life. So I think, like what I talked about before, having a part-time job, working out your bare expenses. I think this is the thing that baffles me, is that people don't know where their money's going. For example, you should know exactly how much you're spending every year on insurance. You should know how much you're spending on petrol. So I think if people are like, oh, I don't know how much I spend a month, you should know. So I think this is an activity that everyone can go away today and go, okay, I'm going to work it out. And it's the same thing with banks. Every 3 months, you look at all of your money, every single amount that you've spent over the past 3 months, categorize it into different categories, and then work out the average. Add it all together, divide by 3. Work out the average. You should know where your money is going. So going back to the business, you should know how much it actually costs for you to live. So maybe you're shopping. I remember I used to have a $200 shopping account budget, and I reduced it to $100 over that time, because I thought, you know what, I'm just going to reduce it. And then you can go, okay, now I know that I can live and I can have a roof over my head and I can eat. Now I'm going to go into my business and put some energy into it. But it's going to, I think, even before that, maybe there's a few months of actually doing it while you're working, and it's going to be hard. And I wish someone told me that before I started, because it's going to be hard. And yeah, people need to enjoy that, because it gives you a lot of resilience.
If there was only one, and you can pick either money or career, But if there was only one tip, money or career, that people took from this conversation, what do you hope is the big takeaway?
The power of budgeting. It's just the power of having visibility of your money. And I want to count how many times I've said that this whole podcast, but I think it's just so powerful. Splitting your money off. For example, you're standing there at the checkout and you want to go buy a $50 top. You open up your account. Immediately you can see you've only got $35 in your shopping account. You can't afford it that month. You can't. So it's going, okay, oh, I do have $55. Oh, amazing. I can buy it guilt-free because I've budgeted for that. I think life isn't about living this stingy life. It's about being able to go and buy things without feeling guilty. That can only happen if you've budgeted for it.
100%. And to enjoy things without that little itch in the back of your mind of like, should I have?
I've just spent my rent, but my rent money. It shouldn't be like that.
Yeah, it's so much nicer when you do have control and you do know where it's coming from and it's all sort of part of the plan.
Yeah.
It's actually so much more enjoyable.
100%. My biggest high twitch moment is when people have a savings and a spending account.
Oh,
and I just go, because some people are amazing with their money. They know it from in the back of their head. Amazing. But for me, I can't. I'm such a visual learner. With ASB, you can change little icons and you can have, your car. So it can be an Audi or something, a Kia. I've got a Kia. And so you've got a little logo of your car and you can save towards it. You can visually see it. You can manifest it. So I think that's really important. Seeing how much money you have in there, your long-term savings, see it grow. Don't just have one account where you're like, oh, I really hope I can make today's rent payment. You should have that money set aside and a direct debit going out every single month from that account. You shouldn't be spending money that you literally don't have because that money you don't have, it's going to come out, so it's not yours to touch. So I think it's just opening up your account and going, cool, I can buy that guilt-free. I can live my life. I can have that scone. I could go out and go to the movies. I can do it guilt-free because I think I lived this life where I hated buying stuff. I hated shopping because I felt so guilty. But now I've got money sitting there.
Hannah Koumakis, if people want to find out more about you, keep following your amazing money tips, the ones that you are willing to still share with us these days, where can people find you and your amazing businesses? Hit us with all the plugs.
Oh, gosh. Okay, here we go. Dear Brides NZ on Instagram, TikTok. You've got Dear the Series as well. You've got Dear Community NZ on Instagram, www.dearcommunity. You've also got Hannah Koumakis on all the different channels. And 7 Content Studio if you want consulting as well. And I think that's all. Sometimes I lose track.
I was just going to say, you just lost track of your own businesses.
Dear the Series, Dear Community. Yeah, I think so.
Brilliant. Busy gal. Busy gal.
Busy.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And of course, before you head off, don't forget to hit subscribe on Making Sense. And if this episode was helpful to you, send it to a friend as well so we can all level up our money together. Until next time, have a great day.
Just a note before you go, this podcast can only give you general information about how things work in most cases. It's not individual financial advice. We're all different, so some of this might not apply to your specific situation. Take what works for you, ignore the rest. If you're after individual financial advice, a financial advisor is always the best bet.